diversity is such an important theme for designers that it shouldn't be restricted to just how we work in teams or how our products are made. What we understand as a model must also be different. We cannot look at the same unique references. We also need to have diverse references. We need to create bridges with different designers, different people from other places. We all have our knowledge, cultures, different ways of seeing a particular thing, and this is very valuable for us designers, something we have to explore. Today we are going to talk a little more about the World Class Designer Conference, a 24 intercontinental event with this mission to create bridges. It is an event created for the African continent's benefit and the design potential that exists there. But I mainly think that the event goes way beyond that, bringing benefits for designers from different places. Hello, my name is Andrei Gurgel and you are watching Xlab. Let's learn together with my today's guests. Welcome Maria from Russia and Pradyumna from India.
Hi everyone, I'm Maria. I'm originally from Russia and living now in Italy. So I'm a service and experience designer, and as I like always to say, citing Mr. Wolf from Pulp Fiction, I solve problems. So I've been always working in between research and design. So I try to blend the visual and creative work with thinking. So I'm a visual thinker. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Pradyumna Surampudi. I'm from Bangalore, India, and I'm living in Milan, Italy right now. I'm a computer science engineer turned interaction designer, which means I know the tech and I get to interact with it and design better as well. I've always been interested with to understand how people think about interacting with different objects as well as different kinds of tools. So as well as between themselves. So that's how I'm interested in implementing and designing for interactions.
India, oh my god, it's amazing, Pradyumna. Tell me more about India.
Yeah, so I'm from the southern part of India. It's a place called Bangalore, and it's quite close to a neighboring state. So, and my parents had immigrated from the state next to the state I was born in. So it means that I ended up having to learn a different language at home because my parents are from a different state, and a different language at school because the city I was in had a different language.
Mm-hmm.
And a different language I just picked up because most of my friends were from a different neighboring state. So, and then we have one language for the entire country. A lot of people speak, but it's not mandatory in any way, called Hindi, which most people recognize as Indian, but there's no language called Indian. So there are a lot of people in India the same way that they end up speaking like multiple languages just because you end up communicating with different kinds of people, and it's always more than one language. And yeah, the weather and the the things which we see in our surroundings as well change quite a lot as we keep moving, and we have tropical climates as well as mountains. So it's really much like almost as big as Brazil, I think. So it's a really interesting place.
Amazing, amazing. And how about you, Maria? Tell me more about Russia.
Well, our story is a little bit sad because also like people think that Russia is just Russian people speaking Russian language, which in reality is not true. So we have like I don't really know how many nations we have there. A lot, so really a lot. Even the place where I was born, it is originally inhabited by another nation. They have their own language, their own food, their own traditions, clothes, all those kind of stuff. And so it's a very multicultural country. Unfortunately, what happened is that during Soviet Union, we lost a lot of our dialects. So before it was the same, like you go to a different region, which can be really small, and then they speak in a different way and you recognize them. Now, most of those things are lost. Sometimes you can still hear it. So some people from certain parts speak a little closer to like how Ukrainians speak. So they make h sound instead of g sound, or people in certain areas in central Russia speak like they actually ask your question, like la 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 la, like this way. In some regions they use a lot of o sounds instead of a, but it's very minor. We used to have much more of that. Also having different words for the same things, but most of that is lost because of Soviet Union policy on that. But at least we still keep a lot of different nations with their languages, and the government is trying to keep it. So let's say even in my home republic, um, you can, if you want, you can study in this native language, or like the news are into languages, the radio is into languages, and all the official like tables that you can see on the buildings have two languages. Yeah.
It's amazing hearing your description about the place you were born. Okay, how do you see the importance of the bridges of knowledge that the World Class Designer Conference proposed to build?
So, as we know, we have become a more connected world, especially in the last year and a half, where everybody has to stay online, even though we can't meet people and connect with them. In a way, this has brought us closer to different parts of the world because it's not inaccessible anymore to talk to somebody from Africa or Australia or South America. In fact, I've gotten to know more people and interact with people from different countries and continents that were hard for me to go physically and interact with people. And this helped kind of open up my perspective as well as get me out of my design bubble. There are things that I learned from different perspective. Maybe they weren't that different. I learned that people are similar even though they are from different places in the world. But the bridge connecting all of us is the love for good design and seeing different perspectives to help design for all of us and not just one person. So that's why I believe the world class designers is helping at least show the perspective from all over the world, so we get to learn and relate as well as grow, like in terms of how we see the world and how we try to design our own life around us.
Yeah, so what I see is that though the world is super connected now, we live in our small bubbles. Like what you notice in social media, what is happening now, that Instagram or Facebook, they give you the information you want to see. So let's say you're subscribed to a particular people with the same point of view. Let's say you support, I don't know, people who hate Trump, I don't know, for example. So what happens? You never see the other perspective, and people become even more polarized. So instead of giving us a broader perspective on things, like we have so much information everywhere, right? We all can be connected, but in reality, we're not. So what happens is we're even more polarized than before we had internet. So to that extent, that I will give you an example connected with design. Once I was volunteering in the Interaction Design Conference in Milan, and I was talking to guys working in US, and I was saying that we talk a lot about diversity in design and being inclusive, but sometimes when you enter a particular design company or design university, people say to you, if you don't have Mac, you're not a designer. And I heard it so many times. And I told that to them that it makes me feel so frustrated. And they said, wait a second, so people actually use Windows computers for design? And I'm like, yes, can you imagine? So, and then it's not because they're stupid or they are not educated. It's just because they are in their own bubble, even though the world is open for them. So that's why we are saying that World Class Designer Conference is truly international, meaning that we don't just invite, let's say, people from Canada and US, which is technically international, or just people from Europe, which also makes it international. Well, we are trying to have different perspectives, different speakers, different participants, so that people actually realize that how many things are around them, how different we are, but as Paddy said, how same we are in many things. Like we love good design, we love good user experience. That's my answer.
Awesome, Maria. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think the conference is giving a chance to create different bridges, right? Because normally we have this fixed destination, you see, where we see our reference, for instance, only Europe or only United States. But I think that bringing this mix, you see, of people thinking differently, it's so important. I mean, it's the opposite of bubbles that you were describing. It's right. It's everybody. It's together bringing ideas. It's awesome. It's exciting, and also I see that we have a lot to learn from Africa, right? I mean, that universe, that rich universe. What have you learned so far just by organizing this event and get in touch with Africa somehow?
So the first thing we learned is that Africans, as we say and we joke in our team, never sleep. Thanks to our grandmaster Gideon, who is the person who actually came up with that idea.
Absolutely.
He works like unstoppable, like 24/7. Another thing that we learned that, how to say, there is a stereotype about Africa that first of all, Africa is like one country, not literally, because most of people, I guess, know that it's not, but that it's homogeneous. While in reality, it's so different that you move from one small country to another, like 1 hour or so, it's completely different. They have different language, different food, and of course, all that influence how they see the world, how they see themselves, and like even the visuals of our conference, if you notice, there is a lot of those kind of African motifs. Like you just see and you already understand that's about Africa. And what else I learned, that kind of frustration that come from African designers, that they're not considered to be a part of the world of design, that they're just considered to be a place where you need to send money to help, but no one takes them seriously. No one wants to learn something from them. And there is such a huge culture there. Like, just look at their prints on their clothes or their religions. There's so much we can learn from. So it's a big pity that we usually leave them aside. We set them aside when we talk about design in the world.
Awesome. And how about you, Pradyumna?
Yeah, as Maria said, there's a lot of amazing cultures and people from Africa. And our introduction was through Gideon, and I had met him during the Interaction Design Conference that happened in Milan last year. And I was immediately very surprised and excited to talk to him because he's full of energy and vibrant. And it got me curious to know and learn more about African people and talk to them and work with them. And during the course of this conference and just becoming learning more about Gideon and the stuff he does, I got to talk to a few other African designers and developers, and I realized they are, I don't understand why we did not have so much of a understanding or a collaboration with African designers and developers in the world, because there's not so many reasons to classify them as African anything, because there are a lot of things that we do similar to them. And coming from India, the subcontinent, which is seeing a growth right now and becoming more global, I related to their frustrations and their skills as well as their passion in a lot of similar ways. Because, as Maria said, even in India, if you go from if you go 100 meters or 100 kilometers in either direction, it's a completely different culture, language, and people. Same thing with Africa, but we don't always have the same notion when we think about Africa. Even me, as an Indian growing up, I always thought like, okay, Africa is one entity. But speaking to Gideon as well as few others, I realized we still need to change our mental model of how we see Africa as a group of nations, group of cultures and languages, and how they have the same passion and interests and skills as the rest of the world has to offer. And we should really listen to them and then incorporate the same cultural inspirations and influences that they have coming from their native cultures, and put the spotlight on them, because I think the world can definitely use a breath of fresh air. I mean, you've seen the visuals that we had for the conference. It's very vibrant and exciting. It gets you through to have an instant emotion, and right away, it's not just about a toned down or minimalistic approach. So it forces you to think and forces you to have an emotion, and that's what I feel Africa has taught me, or at least the beginning of my experience with Africa is that.
Awesome. I think we should know more about design in Africa, right? From Africa. We don't know. I mean, it's important to understand the culture, but also understanding how people think and the designers that are creating great stuff there, right? Tell me, what can we expect from the World Class Designer Conference? What we are going to see there?
So as I was saying before, we really care about diversity. So it's one of the values of our conference. So starting from our team, we're all originally from different countries: India, Mozambique, Russia, and Brazil. To our program, so we have 3 time zones. So the Asian time zone, European time zone, and the North American time zone, or how you call it properly. So, and then the people, if you want, you can even watch it 24 hours. So you can see the speakers from China and Japan or India. And then you can watch people coming from Europe, and then you can jump to the US and Latin America. Then, if you don't want, you can just stay in your time zone, and then you'll have speakers not just from different countries inside time zone. So we can guarantee it's not going to be just homogeneous Europe and US conference. And then also people coming from different type of companies. So we're not just having like giant names like Zalando or Oracle, but also we have a smaller companies. So we have also different perspectives. We have people of all races, all genders. So we try to make it as diverse as we can. Another thing that you can expect, that it's not just one-time conference that you just participate, you find something nice, you forget about it until the end of your life. No, that's not our plan, because we want to make it something that lasts, so that once you participate, you can then enroll into our reverse mentorship program with African designers, that you can keep in touch and you can learn from each other, which is the most important point of that conference. You don't just come to drink coffee somewhere, right? You come to get something new. And then you keep doing that after the conference is over. And finally, most of the conferences are still, even though the organizers say they're trying to improve your skills, they still get some money from that, right? In our case, it's a completely non-profit. So we actually use the money coming from tickets to sponsor the aspiring African designers and give them money to actually afford the online education. Because our ultimate dream is to put Africa on the stage, to show that there's so much knowledge, so many talent there, and to make African design a brand, like there is Italian design, or I don't know, French design, German design. Yeah.
Yeah. So as Maria said, like, we have a lot to learn from the conference, and there are lots of different opinions and lots of different experiences coming in, because you've seen the speakers come from varied experiences in terms of how long they've been working or in what field they've been working. And of course, we have already spoken quite a lot about the countries and the different companies that they've been working in. But what we are trying to gain from this is people of all sorts of levels in their career right now, people who are just starting out, people who have experience, and people who are trying to change their fields and get into design can learn something or the other from all of our speakers, because these people have worked in design and design adjacent fields, founded their own companies, worked with giant corporations. So there's a lot to learn from all over the place. And yes, definitely the main purpose of this is to help all of the proceeds from the conference would be going to help fund design education for Africans, and the African design students that we'll be picking out through scholarships and helping them uh, get a spotlight on, not so much as just changing what they know, but helping them uh, catch up, as well as give them the platform to collaborate and work and show their work with the rest of the world. So that's how the conference not just ends after the talks are done. It keeps going to keep the cycle running. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's invite the people to be part of it. I'm going to place the link here so people can access the website and getting more information about it. But for now, let's invite, right, everyone to be there.
Hey guys, we are having the World Class Designer Conference online. It's everywhere, all over the world, 24 hours. Every single continent's going to be there, and we will be interacting with over 45 speakers and thousands of people that you can talk to from all over the world, designers, people getting into design, anything that you want to. So you get to network with them, learn from them, and give back as well. And so come join us at the World Class Designer Conference 2021. The links would be in the description below.
Awesome. Maria?
You can also find us in Instagram, and please also tag us and put the hashtag WCD conference in Instagram and other social media. You can also find us in Twitter and in LinkedIn. So we are posting updates every day, and we are really waiting for you here.
Awesome. You're going to see all the links here below the video, and see you there. Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you. Yay.
Bye.